Hi, thanks for coming back to my little crafty secret. For the August edition of Smash Our Stash, we are smashing our scrap cardstock and scrap pattern paper. So I want to get into it. I have a lot to share with you. So first I wanted to share like what I do normally with my scraps, how I deal with them, and then I want to share the projects that I made with it, my scrap paper. So these are like these aren't actually the branding strips. I'm just going to call them the branding strips for lack of a better name. But these are the strips that you would get, and it's perforated on like a 12 by 12. These were from a 12 by 12 paper pattern sheet of paper, pad of paper. And it's where that hole is, and there's like a long strip at the very top of it. You just rip it off because it's perforated. So that's what these were. And so I had a whole pad of it, and I don't want to get rid of that. So what I did was I weaved these together. These are kind of the remnants of what was left over. I will show you the panel that I actually made out of it. There was 4 I was able to make. Very cool. I love it. This came from a project. I'm actually making an eclipse card where I was able to use these green sheets of paper that I don't like personally. What I do when I die cut is I cut down to the size of the die, and depending on how large of the scraps are, I may or may not keep them. So this, it's like, what can you do with this scrap? So there's a couple of things I do. I might keep something like this so that I can die cut it and then put my stamp over here and like into my MISTI. Put this into my MISTI, put the stamp onto my MISTI. So I can have a perfect like die cut edge. Sometimes I don't die cut very well. It's like off. I would sometimes do that because I even get off using this method. I'm not perfect, so either way I seem to mess up. Anyway, but this, like, these scraps, like, for me they're kind of large, and I just want to toss it. And then when you have a whole bunch like this, it's like that's a lot of paper to just toss. So if I have a large space like this, or even like this, I would cut it and then glue all these together. Well, not all of them, maybe 6 or so, or maybe 7 or so. Glue them all together, and then I would make this, I would adhere this to the back of maybe a sentiment. So for example, I actually made a lot of tags using some green cardstock, and again, there was a lot of this type of paper like left over, and so I glued it all together and I put it as a backing for this. So instead of using my foam tape, I use cardstock. So that's what I do with all these scraps. And then of course you guys know the drill. You go into your scraps to make sentiments. I do that all the time. I generate a lot of white cardstock scraps, and that's what I do here. That's just a few examples. I have so much more that I've already used. And then if the paper is large enough, I cut down 6 by 6 pieces of paper, and I usually like to make not folios, but the brag books that I've shared on this channel before. This is where I kind of fold it in half and I glue them together. So I usually do that, but because of May from May Made It, she has these 6 by 6 folios and I love them. So I think I'll be using these 6 by 6 pattern papers to make, like, I don't know, maybe all year round folio. I'm not sure. These really don't match, but I think I can make it work. Then, of course, what I do is, I'm going to put this to the side here. So then what I do is, if the scrap is large enough, I will cut it down to make card panels, and that's what these are. I was able to actually get some of these card panels and just start playing with them. So I've embossed some of them. I've even like put stenciled paste over it. I have a lot more that I stenciled paste over. Yeah, here they are. More embossing. Just playing around with my product. So yeah, Yeah, and this was really great. I like the way this came out. This was pattern paper. This was the really thin sheet. This was a thin sheet of paper, the kind that you get from an 180 pound, I'm sorry, 180 sheet pad of paper. That's what this is. And I just stenciled over it. The background I like, but I don't really use this type of stuff in card making, so I thought, oh, I think it'd be interesting for stenciling. Anyway, that's what I do if I'm able to cut down into panels. And then, of course, I make strip panels. So here's some that I did not finish. Here's that weaving that I spoke of. Here's more scraps. This is interesting because these are scraps of a scrap card panel. It's kind of hard to tell, but here's a strip right here. That's one paper, another paper, yep. So this is, and I have like 5 of these that I was able to make scrap card panels. Some scrap card panels? I don't know what you call it. But the point is, I still saved those scraps, and I made a lot of scrap card panels. So I like that. I'm excited about that, and I will be using those very soon. So I already shared this on a previous project share, but these are just Christmas themed Get Filled Better Soon cards. I will link the project share in the description box below because I did already share this, but I still wanted to show that I created you know, all of these cards in this last month that were scrap related. Now all these scraps and all this Christmas like scraps that I have came from making about 10 6x6 folios. So that's why I have so much Christmas scraps. All right, now the finished products. So I got into my fall theme paper, and I wanted to try to finish that off. I came really close, maybe about halfway through. To me, that's close. And I was able to make some cards. So this is just one that I need to mount onto a card base, an unfinished project. So here in July, early in the month, you'll see some probably scattered in here, like 4th of July themed cards. That's what I did here. So here you go. And here's more of that weaving. That came out so pretty. I like that. And here's the hole. You see, I'm going to point this out. I was able to cut it down where this was at the bottom here. So cool. I love it. I'm going to go through these really quickly. I do have a nice bonus at the end of this project share. So hopefully you stick around. Take a look at these cards. And this is one I did not share in my 365 video, so I wanted to share it now. This is interesting. That tag came from, well, here's more of that. And here, see, there's the holes there. But you know what? I should be able to cover that up, do something with that. It doesn't really bother me. But anyway, that tag was damaged. My dogs got into my craft room, and they damaged a lot of my projects. This was a few years ago. And I lost a lot of product, a lot of projects, a lot of paper, everything. Like, it was a whole mess. And I was very upset. Very upset, because you got into messed up my place, my happy place. But I was able to, that was just one thing that was salvageable, so. And then the bonus. When I was making these card panels, I was able to finish and smash my Nouveau embellishment mousse. It's gone, and I'm so proud of that. And I saved this just to show you. I do want to tell you that I did have this open for about maybe a year and a half, meaning that when I first opened it, a year and a half later, like a couple days ago, I was able to finish it, and it did dry out. I had like maybe a third of it left or a quarter of it left. It wasn't very much, but it still dried out. I revived it by putting water into it, and I just mixed it. YouTube people have said that they've done that and it was fine. Others have said that they actually got mold into it, like mold came out of it, a few days later. I figured, you know what, this is like bad product. I can't use it, so might as well just try it out. So, and that's what I did. And I really had it tight, screwed on tight, to keep it from drying out before it did dry out. So that really didn't work. Screwing on tight as I can. But those are my project shares. If you like this video, I hope you did. Please give it a thumbs up. Please also take a look at the description box below to find links to the other collaborators and see what they made this month. Thanks. Until next time.